How's it going, everybody? So today I want to talk about the Airscape coffee container. I actually heard about it through the comments section in my videos when it comes to making a video about the Fellow Atmos and some of the issues that I've had with it after having them for a year. And somebody mentioned this name and I looked it up and I'm like, that's a great idea, just kind of shoving the air out and then kind of creating a little vacuum at the end. I actually recommended it for my brother to get for Christmas this year, and he got one, but I also got one as well, and so I get to try it out, which is super cool. I wasn't expecting that. Now, the difference between the Airscape and the Fellow Atmos is that it has this kind of, I don't want to say plunger, but it kind of is, that you push down and you remove the air through that pressure. You just kind of extract all the air out, and then you press the little handle and it kind of locks it in, and bam, apparently you have really fresh coffee that's kind of waiting for you whenever you want to open up the lid and pop it back up again. And I think that's a very clever idea because I imagine there's less tension on the lid itself when with the Fellow Atmos, when you're creating that vacuum, there's tension that you're kind of creating in certain places that maybe could cause it to leak. And so I think it's just a kind of clever idea for the longevity of the product, in my personal opinion. Now, obviously, I just recently put in some coffee beans, and so I don't really know how well it works yet compared to the Atmos. But I have a few things already that I'm noticing that I kind of maybe wish were a little bit better signs of a excellent quality product, because I love the idea. And also, let me see here. They have this sort of promotion partnership where whenever you buy one, there's a donation that's made to a nonprofit organization dedicated to ending food waste and hunger across the country. I love stuff like that when there's a cause that's associated with a product. I think that's really neat. And so I definitely love the idea behind this thing. But let me just give you a couple of my thoughts for starters. One of the first things is, and this is me being nitpicky, please forgive me, but you gotta get the grounds really, really even for the plunger to go down and it not be kind of crooked. Even just a little bit can kind of make me feel a little bit weird. I'm not super OCD, I promise, but there's some things that kind of just throw me off. And looking at the lid sort of just like a degree or two cockeyed is a little bit like I'd rather just be looking at like a regular flat bed of beans if at all possible. I don't think it messes with the seal too much. But yeah, that's just like a really random thing that I noticed when I first started trying to get the lid just right. Another thing is that, and I don't know if this is an actual problem yet or not, but I can kind of smell the coffee before I break the seal. So when I open up just the regular lid, that's kind of just more of a decoration, if anything, from what I can tell. It doesn't really create much of a seal. I can kind of just smell the coffee. I assume that means that there's stuff getting through, and I'd rather not stuff get through. It's not a super tight seal where you gotta use like a lot of force to get it down. It's snug, don't get me wrong, but I'm just wondering if maybe that is a sign that maybe it's not a super tight seal. And if at all possible, I'd like to have the tightest seal possible to keep the beans fresh, because that's literally the whole point. That's, again, just an observation. I don't really know if that's just something because I was pushing the air through and then put the lid on, maybe it locked in some of the coffee air. I don't know. This is just me being like a little skeptical that maybe there's an issue when it comes to being a real snug, tight seal. But who knows? The last thing that I'm not a huge fan of is how flimsy the lid fits. Like, I know it's not the thing that's making the seal, but it'd be nice if it didn't jostle around as much and it was a little bit more defined when you put the seal on. It's like, the lid is on here. It wiggles around a little bit, and I don't know. If you're gonna make a lid for something, you may as well make a lid that fits well. But besides that, now the major test is time. I just gotta see, and I'm thinking about getting like a bag of coffee and splitting it between the Atmos, the one that still works and the lid's good, and the Airscape. And I want to see if there's a flavor difference after a couple weeks, because, you know, as we all know, the age definitely changes the flavor, and as the beans age, they will gain flavor, and then there'll be a peak, and then they start to lose flavor. So I definitely would be very interested in trying it out. It just means I'll have to have parallel side-by-side like scales and kettles, and it might get a little complicated, but we'll see. Either way, I do have high hopes for this. I don't want to sound like a pessimist about this. I'm just letting you guys know my first impressions and my first experience. But I'm definitely willing to give this thing a shot. I'm super excited to try it, and I've heard good things. People have said really great things about this product, so I'm really interested to give it a shot. So yeah, I just wanted to give you my original impressions. Please let me know if there's anything in the comments. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that maybe you're interested in knowing about this along my journey of unpacking this whole thing, or maybe if there's other products that you think I'd be interested in trying. I'd be very willing to. I love talking shop, so whatever you got for me, bring it on, okay? But yeah, that'll about do it. So whatever you're doing and wherever you are, I hope you're drinking excellent coffee, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.